Hello, Starscream back, and to continue the blog that I made earlier on about remakes and are they worth it and do we need any and do remakes ever supersede their original films. I got quite a few comments actually. I'm quite pleased about that. I was just looking through them. Actually I looked through them quite a few times, and to be honest with you, there seems to be a lot of people having a real problem with the new RoboCop redo. I didn't even know there was one, so that comes as news to me. A few other things that I got mentioned, I'll post your names up later on in case I mispronounce them or put them wrong or say them, because some of the names on here are quite bizarre actually, like my one's quite normal. Somebody says, I think remakes are a good idea in general, even if it's a great way to introduce younger generations. Well, that's fine, I agree with that, because a lot of people coming along don't remember the classics, but unfortunately what happens is they watch the remake and don't even know that it was an original classic film. That's kind of the annoying point to me. I think people in general should be brought up with the classics, and if they want to watch a redone version of the original, that's fine, but I understand exactly what you're saying. It's a great way to introduce a new generation to these films, but hopefully they'll return to the originals. Fingers crossed. It doesn't always happen that way. And there's another one here. Somebody mentioned that there's a remake needed for Metropolis. Now, this ties in quite nicely for somebody saying, what do you think about remakes of popular anime series? So, this works out quite nicely, actually, bearing the part that Metropolis was a 1920s film, a silent film, directed by Fritz Lang, and I thought it was great. It was also, I think you'll find inspiration for C-3PO. You watch it, you see exactly what I mean. And I think the film is excellent, but obviously a lot of people have a problem with it being a silent movie. It was a German film, a German expressionist-based film, and no dialogue. So you've got to read it. So we've got an anime alternative, which obviously came out, I think it was in the mid-90s. I think it might be the mid-90s, which I thought was great. It took the story on a little bit further. It wasn't a direct copy of it, but it added its own twist, and I can personally watch both of those films and view them as separate. So I don't view the anime interpretation of it as a remake, I just do it as an alternative view for a later audience. But if there's anything, it probably does the original justice that you'd want to go and see where the inspiration was from. So we're back to where we started again. Will it lead people back to the classics? Which yet again is an interesting idea that it does. Now, we also got one of the Clash of the Titans doing a remake. Another film which I didn't think needed a remake. I have great reservations as regards how that one turns out. In my own opinion, the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory was brilliant. Gene Wilder was superb. He's mad beyond all belief. And Johnny Depp's interpretation of it just falls short, in my opinion. They start conjuring up things like were mentioned in the original, but you never saw them. So it gave you your own reason, imagine what was going on. And in that they show you, and it's nothing like what I thought it was going to be anyway. And his portrayal of Willy Wonka was odd, to say the least. I was thinking to myself, are there any remakes I think that are better than the original? I've got to say the Poseidon Adventure, I think it come up. I don't actually think it come up. I'm looking up here, apparently there's going to be a redo of Back to the Future, which is not needed. It's an 80s film, bloody Americans again. No originality. Not saying the Americans, everybody in general. I mean, if you go and see these films, you're only supporting it. Star Trek, would we call that a remake? Well, no, I don't think so, because they've done something a little bit interesting, as opposed to prequeling like Star Trek have done, Star Wars have done, where we've got the original films, now we're going back and explaining it before, and we try to tie them together, and it doesn't really work, does it? So instead, they've gone with, let's start at the beginning, and let's give ourselves a storyline where we're going up like this, and because of what's happened now in the past, a bit like Back to the Future, the timeline spews into this tangent down here, and we're travelling on an alternative, which makes sense as opposed to that's the way the original was going. We've gone down here and we're carrying along down there. Nice way of doing it. Wholeheartedly think that most films should adopt that. So, this brings me to another subject I was thinking about, and if anyone was to post it up, it's great. I'll mention your usernames at the side who've commented, the ones I've read out. Who is the most useless waste of space as a bad guy? Now, I was thinking of this self personally. Now, just just bear with me for the moment, okay? Indulge me. Billy Zane in Titanic, crap villain. I'll tell you for why. He has no payoff at the end. He acts like a moron through the entire film, and to the point where the ship's sinking, they're all going to die. It doesn't seem to stop him. The most important thing to him in this film is seeing the other two unhappy or apart. What a moron. And then he has the most insulting end where he doesn't actually die. What a useless villain, as it were, shall we say. And then there's one other villain which I think is absolutely atrocious, and that's Darth Maul. What a waste of space. Anyway, I'd love to hear what you guys think. Worst bad guys ever, villains, anything along those lines, who did absolutely nothing. Okay, so that's me. That's just my interpretation of films. I'd love to hear your opinions on the worst bad guy anyway. So, take care guys, and Darth Maul, what a waste of space.